Royals shatter in tear. Monarch health fears as royal expert notes frail appearance in picture. The Queen has made her latest appearance during the royal family's traditional week of engagements in Scotland. The monarch, 96, attended an armed forces act of loyalty parade in Edinburgh. The Queen looked radiant in purple for the engagement on Tuesday as she waved to onlookers. The head of state, who is facing ongoing mobility issues, carried her walking stick during the appearance this morning. The Queen joined the armed forces at the Palace of Holyrood House as they marked her Platinum Jubilee in Scotland. There was a parade and presentation of the key for Edinburgh Castle in the gardens of the palace. The Army, Navy and the Air Force were represented at the service and a royal salute took place as the Queen arrived in the gardens. Lord Lyon, King of Arms, presented 3 senior representatives from the services to the Queen. They were joined by 3 cadets, representing each service, who then paraded the key to Edinburgh Castle across the gardens before presenting it to Major General Alastair of Crionaich, Governor of Edinburgh Castle. The Major General then addressed the Queen. The act of loyalty and presentation of the key to Edinburgh Castle marked the 200th anniversary of King George IV's visit to Scotland in 1822. It comes after the Queen arrived in Scotland yesterday for a week of royal engagements alongside other members of the royal family. She attended the historic ceremony of the keys at the Palace of Holyrood House in the Scottish capital, joined by Prince Edward and Sophie, known as the Earl and Countess of Forfar north of the border. The event is the traditional opener to Holyrood Week for the royals who have travelled to Scotland en masse. The Queen, dressed in a light blue coat and hat, was symbolically offered the keys to the city by Edinburgh Lord Provost Robert Aldridge. The tradition dictates that the monarch returns them, entrusting their safekeeping to the city's elected officials. Prince Charles, known as the Earl of Rothesay north of the border, and Princess Anne will also be carrying out engagements in Scotland this week. The Princess Royal will conduct an investiture on behalf of the Queen at Holyrood House later today. On Wednesday, the Prince of Wales, Edward, Sophie and Anne will host guests at a garden party at Holyrood House in recognition of their positive contributions to communities across Scotland. A cheery-looking Queen has made her second public appearance in just 2 days as she continues her stay in Scotland. This morning she attended the Armed Forces Act of Loyalty parade at the Palace of Holyrood House to mark her Platinum Jubilee north of the border. The monarch, dressed in a heather-coloured silk wool dress and coat with a matching hat, all by Angela Kelly, waved to the crowds as she stood with the help of her walking stick. The parade also included a presentation to the Queen of the key for Edinburgh Castle in the gardens of the palace. All 3 forces, the Army, Navy and Air Force, were represented and a royal salute took place as Her Majesty arrived in the gardens. Lord Lyon, King of Arms, then presented 3 senior representatives from the services to the Queen. The key to the castle was then presented to the Queen by Major General Alastair of Crionaich, Governor of Edinburgh Castle, who was assisted by 3 service cadets at the palace's equerries' door. The Major General addressed the Queen, saying, "We, the serving members of Your Majesty's Armed Forces, bound by our oath to you, your heirs and successors, offer for your gracious acceptance the key to Your Majesty's Royal Castle of Edinburgh." To which she responded, "I return this key to the safekeeping of my Governor of Edinburgh Castle, in gratitude for the symbolic act of loyalty of our armed forces, confident of your faithful allegiance to your oath." 3 cheers for the Queen were then given by members of the armed forces before a pipe tune composed for the Platinum Jubilee called Dear Ragnari was played as she waved goodbye and returned to the palace.